Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Car Juice. Today I'm going to be giving you guys the squeeze on the 2023 Genesis GV70. So Genesis, if you guys haven't heard of it already, is kind of like Hyundai and Kia's luxury line version of their brand. This vehicle in front of me is the 3.5 liter turbo, making 375 horsepower with a 0 to 60 time of 4.6 seconds. This car is really nice and competes against some other really high quality vehicles, and there are actually some surprising things from this foreign kind of sub-brand that are actually really cool that aren't actually on several other models, including both the X3 and the Audi Q5. And I don't know if you saw, but I've got a BMW logo on my shirt, so I know a thing or two about BMW X5s. Sorry, I accidentally said X5, but I meant X3. But moving on to the interior of this car, you can see why this was rated one of Car and Driver's top 10 vehicles for both 2023 and 2024. The features that you get that you don't have even an option to get on an X3 or an Audi Q5 are just nice. Like, these ventilated seats are probably some of the best ventilated seats that I've ever seen in the market. And I will put this in my top 3 list of Lincoln, Mercedes, and now Genesis for the best ventilated seats. They get properly cold. It is a balmy 80-something odd degree day here in hell in Cincinnati, Ohio, where I am from. And this car kept me very cool. The windows are already tinted. This is a pre-owned car, and these are the same as the 2024 models, so I thought it might as well take a quick video of this one. The dash materials are also very high quality. They are soft touch. And then you also have a beautiful Alcantara headliner along with a huge panoramic sunroof. You also have some really cool interior trim pieces, so it's kind of like a carbon fiber-esque type weave on the inside of the car, and then tons of ambient lighting all around the exterior of the car. And then these are actually massaging seats too, which again isn't an option on either the Audi Q5 or the BMW X3, which is just insane. Getting behind the wheel of this thing, there are more and more cool tech features that this thing just has as standard, which are just really cool, and really prove that this thing is a proper luxury car. Let's turn off the air conditioning there. But you have a full digital gauge cluster. It also monitors your attention level to make sure that you're paying attention while you're driving the car with a little infrared scanner right at the top of the digital dashboard there. You also have standard adaptive cruise control, which is like crazy. That's a $1,700 option on an X3. On the dashboard, you have a 12.6-inch touchscreen, which is super responsive and works with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It doesn't have like a ton of features and stuff like that, but it's got everything that you need, and it's simple, and it also doesn't block the road whenever you're driving around and everything too. It stays very kind of off and to the side. The car is missing a heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel. However, it does have one right there in the center console. The steering wheel is nice and high quality with perforated leather on the handholds, and overall from the driver's seat, it's a really comfortable car. Door control, whenever you open and close it, feels very purposeful. It feels pretty nice. The door pulls do feel a little bit cheap, a little bit plasticky, which is kind of a letdown, but whenever you upgrade to the 3.5 sport trim, you do get the upgraded Lexicon sound system, which, let me tell you, is actually pretty good. The back seat is quite comfortable. You do have optional rear window shades for the back there, so if you've got kids or if you're trying to keep your car cool in the summertime, you'll have plenty of options to do so. The cool trim is extended back into the back seat, and you have more quilted leather here in the back as well. Also, you have the optional heated seats in the back of this car with more fancy looking climate controls, which are very Land Rover, Range Rover-esque. In the back seat with the front seat set in short guy mode, not a ton of legroom. The X3 definitely has more, probably about double. This is only about 3 inches or so. However, let's see on the headroom test. Plenty of headroom, probably about 2 to 3 inches or so of headroom, which is really nice. As rear connectivity goes, you have 2 USB Type A ports. I don't know if the 24s have switched these over to Type C, and then you also have a normal kind of full house plug that you can plug in any kind of gaming device or any other thing that you'd need in the back here. As far as rear climate control goes, you've just got these 2 vents in the back, but it doesn't feel too hot, and it honestly, even with this turned down low, I feel perfectly comfortable in the back seat. trunk, you just press that little button integrated right into the rear windshield wiper there, and then you actually have a pretty reasonable amount or so of trunk space. I wouldn't say it's anything crazy, but it's not bad. I've got, you know, no complaints. I could definitely fit in here. The cargo liner is kind of cheap. It doesn't really lock into place all that well, but if you wanted to sit back here, if you needed to transport bodies, you could probably get about probably 5 or so of me, and I'm 5'8", 140 pounds. So if that gives you an idea of how big the trunk is, I hope it does, because I don't have any other metric. Hide anything, you are not going to be able to do too much because you do have a full-size spare in the back of this car, but you could fit a small amount of paraphernalia if you needed to for those longer road trips, you know, if you wanted to head down to Mexico or anything like that. But this car does have a power close tailgate where you can just use your foot as long as you have the key in your pocket. If you don't, you just press that button there and the car will close on its own. All right, now for the exhaust test. This is comfort mode. This is Sport Plus. Judging based off of the exhaust and some other things around this car, I think that this vehicle's more so going to compete with maybe the GLC 450 Mercedes or the Audi Q5, because the BMW X3 M40 is much more geared towards the sporty driver and going after the Porsche Macan market rather than going after the luxury segment. This car sounds okay. I mean, it's nice, but it doesn't do the performance thing. The BMW X3 M40 is only about $3,000 more expensive than this, and it is much faster off of the line. The transmission, I would say, is maybe a little bit more geared towards smooth driving in this vehicle than on the X3 M40, but if you're looking for a performance car, this is okay, but it's not anything to call your grandma there about. All right, so in the driver's seat of the Genesis GV70, you are actually very well supported. This car is super nice to drive. The shifter is a little bit weird being down in the center console area. But I mean, it's easy to go between gears, and that's just kind of the way that everybody's going nowadays with like their interior cabin design. The cup holders work pretty darn well, and you know, it's just a nice car. On the mirror, or on the door of the vehicle, the windows are actually double pane glass, which is something very, very important for me whenever I am actually reviewing a luxury car, because personally it makes a big difference. You know, having that double pane glass, this car is very quiet, which is why I say that I think that this car might more be geared towards competing with the GLC, like the Mercedes GLC or the Audi Q5, because they are actually, you know, they're a little quieter than a BMW. BMWs are designed to be very aggressive. They're designed to, you know, take corners efficiently and to make good exhaust sounds with the B58 engine. That's just kind of our bread and butter. This car has really great technology. Like whenever you turn left or right, it actually puts a little image down in the display, like the digital dashboard, so you can see what's going on and you don't accidentally curb your wheels or mess up whenever you're going you know, merging in front of somebody and you can't see it in their blind spot. So the car actually lets you see what's going on in your blind spot. The safety equipment in this car is a little bit handsy. It's a little frustrating how much this car gets involved. Like you can just be like merging between two different vehicles and everything, and the car will think that you're going to cause an accident whenever you're not. It will you know, activate its collision mitigation a little early, which is a little bit frustrating, especially whenever you're in like a performance car. But again, luxury car. This car has massaging seats, and the massaging seats are like pretty darn good. There's a very convenient button that you can just press on your on the side of your seat, and then you can start just automatically going into massage mode. Sorry, I'm having to do a little bit of a quick turnaround here. This road looks like it's blocked off in my neighborhood, so we're doing taking a little detour here. In Sport Plus, it automatically disables traction control, which is, in my personal opinion, really cool. I love whenever cars do that because it just makes it a little bit more engaging. But again, like the all-wheel drive system is so good that it doesn't really make a difference. The touchscreen is super duper responsive. I absolutely love it. And then The transmission's fast enough on downshifts and everything like that too, that it doesn't feel like it's some cheap CVT that's just confused. Man, again, the massage seats are just great. Luxury quality high-end audio system, super duper nice. And whenever you have this thing in sport mode, you get a little bit of cabin noise. The heads-up display is super high quality, and you can see what's going on with the vehicles on either side of the road of you and all those kind of good stuff too. I'm gonna cut for a second and get out to the main road and show you guys a little bit more about what it's like to actually drive this thing on a normal road. The 8-speed transmission is really kind of a nice part about this car, and it has pretty good brakes too. The car feels very safe. It feels pretty heavy to maneuver and very nimble. And then honestly, the steering feels pretty heavy, which I prefer in a luxury car because it makes you feel like you're driving something that has a little bit more purpose and a little more presence. Again, my favorite feature of the car is probably all of the camera systems. As far as trying to maneuver this car, the 360-degree cameras are pretty high resolution. I think they're 1080p, so it's easy enough to know what's going on around the outside of this car without feeling like you're confused. The map view is also quite nice. Even if you just have it on like the regular chill view, it's always going to tell you what street you're on, which will help you get lost all the time like myself. I mean, these roads out here in Cincinnati are they're real confusing. All these damn interstates, man. That's the thing about living in Cincy, is you're just always on the friggin' highway, or you are forced to take a back road because you have the Norwood lateral closed or something like that. It's quite silly. As far as fuel economy goes, this thing actually gets really good gas mileage. It gets, let's check my notes here. Make sure I give you guys the proper details, because you can also get this car in a 4-cylinder. So the 4-cylinder gets 28 miles per gallon, and then the 6-cylinder actually gets 26 miles per gallon, which is almost the exact same as the X3 M40 gets. An X3 M40 is about $69,000, and this thing's about $66,000. So if I was a realtor, would I buy this or would I buy a M3? I think I'd still get the X3 M40. The massage seats are nice. If I was a retiree and I was driving back and forth from Cincinnati to Florida, I was like a snowbird or something like that, I'd probably get this. The ride's smoother, it's quieter. The sound system is just as good, which is very important if you're listening to music for a long period of time. Even the resonance in the cabin is pretty good. It's not like you're getting a lot of like extraneous noises or anything like that, siren going by, and you can hardly hear it. The gauge cluster is a little low resolution, which is kind of frustrating, but I mean, it's not like low enough. It doesn't lag or anything like that. And then there's no crazy, gauges or lights or animations that show up, which is cool. Like the Acura TLX that I did a video back on a couple of months ago, which I will link in the description below, had one of the coolest animations switching between different screens and those sort of things. Like that was really, really top class. Versus this, it just kind of does everything that it needs to do and nothing more, which I don't know about you guys, like is perfectly fine for me. I get geeked out with like little nerdy stuff like what the new Mustang has with all of its digital gauge systems and those sort of things, but I'm okay with cars just being cars. They don't all need to be crazy fancy computers. The digital gauge cluster controls showing up the temperature on the dashboard is quite nice. And then you also have your garage door your garage door buttons integrated right into the dash there too. Full panoramic sunroof is nice. It's absolutely massive, which is really cool. And it appears to be tinted as well, which will help with longer road trips and those sort of things. Switching between lanes, oh my lord, it's like you're on a waterbed, the amount of body roll in this car. Holy guacamole. Yeah, so yeah, it's not a car for the corners. It is a beefy little beefcake for being this small. But yeah, I think that's all the things that I really want to touch on in this video, guys. If there was anything that I didn't touch on or anything that I got wrong, I mean, seriously, correct me in the comments down below. But I'm gonna switch over to some B-roll so you guys can see some cool things going on the outside of this car, and yeah, Thank you guys so very much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. If you guys are interested in this car, it is actually available for $13,000 off the original MSRP at $54,000. Available for sale at the BMW dealership that I work at. Vehicle link in the description below. I also did a review on the Genesis GV80 back a couple of months ago, and I think this is a better option than the Genesis GV80. It feels a little bit more like it knows what it wants to be. The Genesis GV80 was a very, very, very nice car, and honestly didn't cost that much more than this, and it was like a little smoother and bigger and stuff. But this car is like, it's just such like a nice like mid-sized luxury SUV that it's very, very attractive and pretty cool. But it's competing against some big top dogs. But I can see why Car and Driver rated it so highly from all of the different luxury-esque features that they made sure to incorporate in this car. But yeah, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Like the video, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.